And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Bluff You, which is likely going to lead to a lot of probably inappropriate jokes perhaps, or just people shouting Bluff You at somebody else. But this game is made by Blue Orange, and this is a kid's game. It's for 8+, or it's a family style game. This is a game where you're going to roll dice and you're going to lie about it, similar to a very popular game called Liar's Dice. Let's take a look. So you have these 16 tiles here from 3 to 18. Then you have 3 regular 6-sided dice and this special cup. Now the way this cup works is pretty neat. You're going to roll the dice, not as badly as that. You put the dice down and it's hard to see, but you can. If you look straight down in there, you can see what the dice are. So you can see here that this is a 5. But you'll see that nobody else can see that from around the table. But you don't have to lift your cup up like in other games. So when you roll a number, you then pick someone else. That person is called the seer. And you say, I rolled a 5. Or whatever number you want, actually. Now, if this, let's say I say to Susan, I rolled a 5. Susan can say, sure, you rolled a 5. In which case, I did roll a 5. And because she was correct, she gets this. But if she said, Bluff You, which means, no, I didn't roll a 5, and I'm like, yes, I did, then I get the chip. But let's say I had said, it's a 4, because a 4 is worth 4 points, and a 5 is only worth 3 points. And she says, sure, you rolled a 4, in which case I'm like, no, I didn't. Apparently now it's an 8. Then I get the 4 chip. But if she says, no, you didn't roll a 4, Bluff You, I'm like, you're right, I didn't roll 4. Now she gets the 4 chip. And that's the way it goes. It goes to the next person. Now, you can challenge someone if you both own a chip. You can challenge them basically for their chip. I can say I rolled a 5. And again, if they're correct in guessing what I've rolled, then they steal one of my chips. Otherwise, I'll steal one of theirs. Players also, if they roll a double, can exchange their chips. So let's say I have a 9 and a 14. I can put them back in the middle to take a 16. That's worth 2 points. That's worth 1. This one is worth 3. That's pretty much the only way you're going to get a 3 or an 18 unless you are super lucky. The game will continue until all the chips are gone, and then whoever has the most chips is the winner. Or not the most chips, I'm sorry. Whoever has the most points on chips is the winner of the game. Now I want to start out by saying this cup is amazing. I would love if they modified this cup slightly to allow more dice. This would be the ultimate kind of cup to roll for Liar's Dice. Because with Liar's Dice, you're always like picking up and looking at your dice. But here you can just look straight down. There's a lot of games where you roll dice and then you want to keep it hidden. This cup is a great idea. I love it. It's almost impossible to see at an angle. You have to look straight down at it from your own point of view. That's really cool. So yay for the cup. The dice are okay. The chips are fine. Blue Orange usually does pretty good on their components. But this game isn't very good. I like games where you try to bluff other people. But there has to be a reason. You have no reason to tell the truth. You have no reason to lie. You just pick, I'm lying or telling the truth, and they pick, you are or they aren't. If you roll a 3 or an 18, yes, you can do that. But you know what? The chance of you doing that is so infinitesimal that if you say 3, I'm always going to say you're lying on it. Because what does it matter? If you're telling the truth, you get it. But if I call you and you're lying, I get it. The chance of you lying is so much greater. So it all comes down to the odds. You say, I rolled a 7 on 3 dice. I go, maybe you did. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. I have nothing here. And then you can pick the person who is calling you out. So you obviously pick the person with the fewest chips. It's really boring. You were simply rolling dice and then saying, am I lying or not? Oh, well, what's your motivation for lying? Because there's games that you lie, Liar's Dice, Sheriff of Nottingham and stuff. But those games have motivation. Well, they said this, but they're, that can't be right. Maybe it is right. Here you're like, yes or no. It's kind of like me just making up a random statement. My favorite color is yellow. You don't have any concept of whether that's true or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. If you knew me, you might be like, wow, he knows this. But really, the number I'm thinking of right now is 8. There's zero context for that. How could you possibly know? So because of that, this game is too light for me. I don't mind light, fun games. But there are other games, Liar's Dice is a really good example, where you have this kind of thing where you're keeping things hidden and they work much better. When I want to do this kind of, hey, I'm bluffing you and you're trying to call me on my bluff, there needs to be some sort of context behind it. There is none here. So it's a beautiful production, and I hope that I see better games with this cup in, but other than that, this is a hard pass. Dice Tower Judgment, meh.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.